Bear Swiftness. Sisha Sasva with Cat, Tasulam Narkurme Willare. Harkan Akinuslas Fata Korja Eliak. Harkan Savinas Mehain is Mimlam Firkin Fortune. Arrow Clear Rockwood Specials Agus Savinas Mehain Egg Chipped. Kun Jera and Cherma Agus is Mahanrada Gwillan Shansan Castle Lib in Áras and Uachtarán Art Coine Uachtarán hÉireann on Uachtaráin. May I just say on behalf of Sabina and myself how pleased we are that you're all able to join us on what is a very special occasion. This is the final afternoon tea party that after a very long, after 14 years, I think we should know how to at least make tea anyway, but you're very, very welcome to have anything strong. I think that over the last 14 years, these receptions that we've had have offered both Sabina and myself an invaluable opportunity of recognising and celebrating the valuable contribution that so many people have made in their respective fields of endeavour. And it's a contribution, I think, right from the very beginning, back in 2011. I've been always stressing the importance of citizenship, which ultimately is about the right to participation, the facilities to participate, and people who do so much very often because of that great instinct of simply thinking beyond the self, and who are very, very much interested in what people can do together collectively about cooperation. And Sabina and I are so pleased to welcome so many people from different parts of the country, friends and acquaintances, some of them that we had known a long time ago, but then again too many people who have simply written in and represent different organisations that are very important, and to people of all ages and circumstances. So I want to acknowledge the presence today of so many who have made and continue to make such a contribution to social life, to science, the arts, academy, heritage, and very, very important, the public sector. I think we're delighted, for example, a very special group that I have just had a photograph with there, and there was the people, let me say it again, who discovered the planet. Oh, will she? Where are they? And I do think that the very wonderful image that we have there of the activity on the face of the sun and its 11-year cycle will be going to be outside the physics department in what I call University College Galway, you must excuse me, Galway University as it is now. But it also, as well as that, it represents, I think, their achievement represents a wonder in the direction of their professor from distinguished scholar from Chile. So felicidades. I'm so pleased to be able to say that the idea of Ireland and its young scholars and people over the west coast of Ireland using, for example, the magnificent telescope in the Chilean desert is something to be celebrated. I do think, as well as that, I think just to tell you there, Dr. Christian Ginski is from the Centre for Astronomy in the School of Natural Sciences, and the 4 postgraduate students with him at the university, Chloe Lawler, Dan McLaughlin, Matthew Murphy and Jake Byrne. They're the people who made an exciting discovery, and I have to say they were in collaboration with Leiden University and the University of Arizona, and they discovered a new planet using the European Southern Observatory, a very large telescope in the Atacama Desert in Chile. They've called the new planet, which is some 430 light years away, Whispet 2b. So there it is now. Congratulations. And I've said that I'm pleased to be able to announce that the large colourful sunburst painting that you've all passed on your way in today's event will be on display at the heart of the concourse in University of Galway. And it's going to hang in a public space where people can see it, and at the entrance to the university's physics department, where I have no doubt it will be an inspiration, I hope, to thousands of students. And I'm hoping to be able to pass down there regularly myself with very sharp Now, I'm also, we have very special people here, and I have to say, we've had more than one meeting, both in Enniskillen and elsewhere, and that is the members from the Enniskillen Museum in Enniskillen, along with there here we had a powerful cooperation between the SIPTU trade union and the museum. And I'm delighted that Joe Cunningham and John King and Frank Connolly, who recently retired after many, many years of service to SIPTU, is with us this afternoon. In 2016, the museum kindly loaned to SIPTU the green harp flag that flew over Liberty Hall in 1916. It is a very tangible and positive illustration of their inclusive manner of working. And as President, I was delighted to accept the flag back to its original home in time for the centenary of the Rising. And I'm so grateful to them for facilitating that. And there he is there. And I trust that the relationship between the museum and Liberty Hall will not just be a fulfilling, but a lasting one. And I so appreciated my own visits and conversations that I had with the staff. I have already met and so want to welcome the members from Belcarra Community Council. And those wonderful people as well. You have to have a special place for Matters Canine. And that is the Animal Help Net Kerry. I was so pleased to look at all of what you're doing. And I think as well, the Governor of Wheatfield, President David Tracy, is here. And I want to compliment the prison staff that right from the very beginning we were able to present, for example, Gashka awards. But there's such an amount of good connections with community and also with sport, I remember the dedicated people who were involved in teaching, and they're just such important. Now there's a very special, I suppose I'd like to think he discovered him myself a bit, and that is Dr. Michael O'Connor. Dr. O'Connor actually is, in my view, given us the definitive work in relation to those who benefited from the ownership of slaves. And I said it to him a long time ago when I was making a documentary a long time ago in the island of Montserrat. But what he has told us, and I think for now many of you are here from Mayo, you'll just have to put up with it. But there were many Mayo families, in fact, actually, who were very involved in the ownership of slaves in Jamaica. And the definitive work is Dr. O'Connor's, and I think it. Now, Tameshi Tiocht Creek, and we're coming to today's event marks the final afternoon tea that I will host Uachtaráin hÉireann. And all of those events such as this, Sabina and I have held both inside in the house and outside, past over the last 14 years, have been occasions where we've been able to give witness and recognition to the moral leadership and unstinting efforts of so many people throughout the country working towards the creation of a just and equal world. I do want to say as well, there is a special group of people here, and they are from Uachtaráin, and I want to say Rosalind McGillibrida, when we came here, fáilte críúil dúin agus mo bhuichas leat a scacrot agus an fuirna fada bhí gobar leat. And so there, I remember I have, my Donegal Irish has improved. When I used to be on Edwadgin in the morning, when people ring me up to talk about something controversial, it just take me a full minute to get my ear attuned to the content. But you are most welcome, Rosalind, and all of the friends, the friends who have come with you. I should just say as well, I had a meeting yesterday with a man who was just representing the front line, who is speaking about the front line in Gaza. And we are living in times of great challenges and great difficulties, but not difficulties. There are conflicts that we should have been able to avoid, be it in the Ukraine, Sudan, Syria, Myanmar, Sahel, Congo, Gaza, and so on. But I think that as we gather this afternoon, I don't think I could, in fact, be consistent if I didn't mention to say what a great human failure it is that 295 million people of our global family were affected by acute hunger last year. And that is why I think coming out and the people we have received over the year, particularly in recent times, when you had a man-made famine, we have been very, very important. And it's one of the most encouraging things as I leave the presidency, the strong support in the Irish instinct for humanity and for meeting, if you like, what we need in the world through sufficiency, but also the awful, appalling nature of seeing people would become numbed by looking on screens at children dying of malnutrition. 145 so far, we know for sure. And also about all the people who are now searching, be it in fact, I spoke yesterday of a man from the kibbutz who had been there for 4 generations, who had killed, but also the thousands of Palestinians who are buried under rubble. And I think that when I was writing myself long ago, I had a poem, The Prophets Are Weeping. No one can justify what was happening in the name of any belief or creed or anything else. And I think that we must admire, I do admire very much as a living, those wonderful doctors who have been kept going without oxygen, without any anaesthetics of any form, and they just stayed, and they've been looking after people in the most desperate of... Now, the positive thing about it all is the way that so many people in Ireland have been able to unite in expressing a moral concern. And may that be the case, that it's what the messages that come out of Áras and Uachtaráin, I think are better when they in fact embrace the world and embrace all the needs of humanity, be it in relation to sustainable development, which is, I remember here in 2015, when we were pushing up all the demonstration things, at Sabina in particular, on the Sustainable Development Goals, and everyone's heart lifted with 2015, because there was a real possibility that in the global discourse, people were discovering what might be universal, an appropriate relationship between social justice, ecology, and the end of inequality. So I think we mustn't be defeated, as it were, by any developments in geopolitics. That wonderful instinct is still there, and I think that all of the people who are working in relation to environmental matters, justice matters, equality matters, will in the end, I believe, they're the basis for the future. There will be in the future an effective United Nations that will have the support of governments all over the world. There will be, in addition to that, people, I think, get a photograph today with a man wearing the wonderful blue beret. Why do people in Ireland know so much about these conflicts? Because men and women from different families have all served in peacekeeping since Ireland joined the United Nations in 1958. So we need, this is the energy we have, a kind of indomitable energy in relation to the instincts that value humanity. Excuse my dwelling on it, but it's it is the reason why I have included it in so many speeches. And the good news about it is these positions taken by Ireland, and for example the help, there are 77 million that Ireland has in fact given to the Palestinian cause since October. I think that it helps Ireland's, we're not doing it for image, but people come to me and say that and appreciate the moral leadership that is involved, and it is appreciated. It's the best version of Ireland. I do think now I just want to finally say, and I was delighted that we have our scholar from Chile with us here, is that my own great interest in South America at the moment, it is that so many South American movements are in fact respecting Madre Natura. And there's kind of the whole, I have indicated, and Ireland has indicated, support for President Lula and President Porter's initiative in relation to eliminating global hunger and poverty. But with respect for nature, it's very interesting that in many of the most developed countries of the world, corporations have legal status. But there are 3 or 4 constitutions in South America where nature, in fact, has a legal personality. And this is something that is actually spreading and offers a great example, ejemplo muy importante to us. So I think that in spite of all the challenges, we mustn't be depressed. We must, I think, realise that it is all the small efforts added together that in fact actually achieve change, and they will achieve change. And I should say that the word that is most important, it is all aimed at experiencing peace. Peace in ourselves, peace with nature, peace with others, peace with the future, peace with the past. And I think that is, I just want to say that everything I have described wouldn't have been made possible without the strong support of so many people, and particularly the staff of Áras and Uachtaráin, and all of those who kind of year after year, for 14 years in many cases, the letters we get back don't say about that people were glad to be here. They say about the extraordinary way that they have been received. So, Mavwikas Levgachtana Avi at Carwilin Harna Blianta. I want to wish you all a most enjoyable afternoon. I think the distinguished entertainers we have now, that are coming up, Cathy Nugent and Seamus Brett, will be introduced very shortly. But also I want to thank all those, the staff, not just the staff of the Áras, but those who are looking after us in case we fall with disability. There are people who are looking after health, and I thank them again for that. I'm doing my best not to fall myself. But she said, just to delay. When Shana was an Tronona, agus a rís gachra agus banat don tácaí. Agus is ínta gan rud ag bhfuil sib linn Tronona mar a gut me. Agus a chóirithe an clán lehan sin as dún an lá. Ber banat,